25th of May on our African continent, and in this year of our Lord 2024, is a year that we must take into perspective of the role and position and place of Africa in the global scheme of things, in the global scheme of governance, in the matrix of economic trade, and in the possible potential of Africa's contribution to world overall development. Africa today is faced with a difficult position at a momentous time in humanity's existence. To that effect, statesmen and leaders of African descent and of people of color must appreciate their role in the sole responsibility that will have been bestowed upon them by virtue of assuming public office, to be true to the African vision, to be true to the African aspiration, to pay attention and in respect of the agenda for African Renaissance as we head to 2063. This Renaissance must be also viewed in the context of Africa's global position and the entities that have always represented African prowess, which is the Organization of African Unity, the predecessor of the African Union, which delivered political independence. It is now on the African Union's table and plate, or ball in the court of the African Union, to begin to think about configuration of African economic emancipation, which is a stage that must confront neo-colonial positions and paradigms of narratives that exist to shape Africa's position in the 21st century. To that effect, the citizens of Africa should also play a contributory role in fighting against the effects and the dangerous scenario of mind conditioning based on religion, culture, and education that has been brought by the white man since his advent on the African shores in 1894 and beyond. We must also look at an Africa that is alive to the effects of colonization, to the effects of slavery, not forgetting all those that were part and transported in the North Atlantic slave trade, where citizens and Africans who were taken, forcibly removed from this African continent and taken across the Atlantic Ocean to be products and commodities of trade, to be beasts of labor and burden for the emancipation, the rise, and the current development of the cosmopolitan, Eurocentric imperial world that exists today. That must not be forgotten. It must be forever etched in the minds of the people of color, in the minds of the descendants of those that were removed from this African continent. It also calls upon, as we reflect on Africa Day, May 25, to also remind all those people of color in the diaspora to be cognizant and alive that they are descendants of this African continent. They didn't just emerge from Africa they didn't just emerge to be in the Americas or in Europe and find no roots associated with Africa, but were a result of forcible removal, physical removal from the African continent. And these are the issues that confront modern day thinkers of African descent, academia, and all those that are in institutions of learning.